Good morning. I am a little late starting today. I was up earlier, but it's rainy, so it's been like kind of slow moving morning. And I was getting ready to start, and it was actually, I was like, oh, it's time. Gert has some medicine that she does in the morning and the evening, and I was like, oh, I should go do that before I sit down and start this. And then then another hour goes by, because it's never like just 5 minutes, and it's like, let's go outside, let's walk around for a while, let's do 20 loops around the house. But I'm glad she enjoys her house circles. That's good. That's a good thing. Okay, so the song that we are doing today, we are gonna do a song off of my album Faith. This song is called Looking Inside. I've been doing a little warm-up on it because I haven't played this one in a long time, and I was realizing as I was doing my warm-up, this is one of those songs that I normally just set a loop of the guitar part and build some like loop layers on top of it, and then do the speaking part where I'm not having to play the guitar and get all the speaking. So I was actually squirrel ADD mind, but it's all coming back to the same point. So last week I went and saw my friend Jeannie Thompson. She just had her release. She did a book of poetry, and it has to do with like Helen Keller, and Larry Mitchell did the music behind it. So they had a reading last week at a bookstore in Montgomery, and it was beautiful. They did great. It was really wonderful. The music paired with the poetry and everything. It was awesome. And she did so good. And we were talking about this maybe a year or so ago, when they were like, I don't remember when they first started working on it, but we were talking about what it's like when you're doing kind of spoken word pieces. And I've just started doing it in the last couple of years, and it's so different than your singing voice. And when you first start doing it, it's like you kind of rush through the words, and so learning to find that rhythm, it's like you got to get yourself to slow down, and then there's a rhythm with putting the words in, just like when you're singing or when you're rapping, or it changes the tone of everything depending on where you place your words, depending on the speed, depending on how you do the phrasing. And so anyways, I've been thinking about that some, because we were talking about it last week, and I was telling her, I was like, you did it great, because it's hard enough when you're doing it recording, but performing it, it's like you've also got to work with if you have any like performance anxiety or anything that would make you want to speed up. It's like you have to get calm so you can find the right voice for it, and so you can like say things in the way that when the people, that your listeners or the audience, like as they're receiving it, so they can receive it with the right energy for the tone of the piece that you're doing. So anyways, this song is one of those, and it's like when I first started doing things like this, the easiest way for me to do it was to loop the guitar, loop things so that I'm not trying to also think about my guitar hand staying steady, and I'm only thinking about the words, getting the words in the right place, because sometimes the way the words move is not the same rhythm that your hand's moving. That's what makes something really beautiful, is when the vocalist and the guitarist are doing something different, but it comes together to make this beautiful duet, which can be kind of crazy to do when you're the vocalist and the guitarist, or and there's a lot of people out there that do this like beautifully, but it's definitely like it's like you have to kind of split your brain and your body in like two different pieces, and but when it works, it's beautiful. So anyways, I was thinking about that as I'm like trying to do it, and hopefully I'm gonna pull some of this off, but also cut me a little slack if there's a few moments where the guitar gets off or the voice gets off or whatever, because it's hard. Even with like simple things. But also saying that if you're getting into this right now, where it's the same thing, like working with singing and playing the guitar or any of this stuff, It's like you really got to get one part to where it's just running on muscle memory, right? And once you get that one part running on muscle memory, then you work on getting the other part like running on it. And then once you get them both, where they both feel like pretty fluid, pretty good, then you can really go back into like really tapping into like the energy of the piece, and they'll both do their own thing. Then you're moving with like, it's like you're just flowing with the river, right? You're just going down the river. So anyways, I'm on my second cup of coffee today. Can you tell? I made it past the first one. Got a second cup before we started. Okay, let's get into this. Good morning. I feel like I gotta say it again. I just talked for 5 minutes. But it's coffee time. We're allowed to do that. We're allowed to have some talking. Get into the vibe. Shedding off the layers of darkness, shadow cloaks have veiled the mind. Clouds are parted like the seas, clearing past to the divine. Surging water slowly calming down to easy rolling tides. Moon has risen now. He's falling through ever-changing skies. Looking inside, 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 looking inside. Looking inside. I forgot. That's where I set loops of harmonies, so I can bring them in for the chorus. Okay. Let me get into this groove. My thumb doesn't want to keep the pattern going. Everyone's gotta be, everyone's trying to be famous. It's gotta be, everyone's trying to be famous. It's gotta be, everyone's trying to be famous. In a culture built by technologically divided, reminded of the Trinity, mind, body, and soul recollected, recollecting on the times we were one. Undivided and united, every piece has its purpose. Its worth is justified by self, not by ego, by contribution, by intention, with exquisite design. No detail is overlooked, no detail is too small. The judgment that once followed the gaze realizes its time would be better spent elsewhere. Looking inside, 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 looking inside. In a world where stereotypical, not so much lyrical, captivation of the senses washes away thought-provoking conversations replaced by generic words of wisdom, observations of the obvious, filler fluff of idealistic actions and points of view. A contradiction of the norm becomes a fad and it loses all its meaning. We all just want to feel like we belong. We all just want to feel like we belong in some place with someone, in our own skin, in our own time. We all just want to feel like we belong. Surging waters slowly calming down to easy rolling tides. Moon has risen now, it's falling through ever-changing skies. Looking inside, looking inside, looking inside, looking inside. Images become idols, worshipping screens, building ideas based off dust in the wind. Reflection that once was thought turns into view. Pondering is long gone now that no pawns are needed to look into our own eyes, our own soul. But we don't look into our own soul anymore, we look to change. Change our appearance to mask our soul to the world, change the way we are viewed by others, change the way we are viewed by ourselves. Change might be what the world needs, but are we ready for the truth? Are we ready to face ourselves? Are we ready to stop worshiping the images instead of searching within? Where do your values lie? Or better yet, where do they lay? Do you carry them as a badge or a burden, or do you leave them at the door? What was right in one time has a different face after transitioning years. One day requires the solidarity of a mountain, while the next, the fluidity of a stream. Shedding off the layers of darkness, shadow cloaks have veiled a mind. Clouds are parting like the seas, clearing paths to the divine. Surging waters slowly calming down to easy rolling tides. Moon has risen now, it's falling through ever-changing skies. Surging waters slowly calming down to easy rolling tides. Moon has risen now, it's falling through ever-changing skies. Looking inside, looking inside, looking inside, looking inside, looking inside, looking inside, looking inside. We're making it through this one. I'm not gonna lie, the first part was kind of hard. Doing that rhythm. Everyone's gotta be, everyone's gotta be, everyone's trying to be famous. Everyone's gonna be, everyone's gotta be, everyone's trying to be famous. Everyone's gonna be, everyone's gotta be, everyone's gotta be famous. For the most part. We made it through for the most part. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard. It's that keeping this 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. In a culture built by technologically divided, it's hard. Dude, it's hard. But the song, there's a lot to it. I kind of forgot about some of this one. Man, I might have to sit back down with this one for a little bit. I remember when I wrote this one, I remember what I was feeling like, and I have re-felt like that a lot over the couple years. But it kind of, that one part, everyone's gonna be, everyone's gotta be, everyone's trying to be famous. It's like, in a time where images become idols, worshiping screens, building ideas based off dust in the wind. It's this whole thing. I mean, it's even more so now than it was when I originally wrote this song, but it's like, and I'm not hating on anyone that's doing this. I'm just kind of making a comment about society, what's going on these days. It's this whole culture of like influencer and everything. Like, we all have these phones, and we all, we can constantly, right now I'm filming myself and I'm making something to send out to y'all. And it's like, so we're constantly, like, people are constantly filming with phones or looking at phones, and like, we have screens in front of us all the time, everywhere. Even if you go to like a gas station or something, there's a screen now. Like, billboards are turned into screens, and just so many things are built about, like, this idea of like trying to chase fame, so to speak, and trying to chase all this stuff sometimes instead of being focused on the world that's actually right in front of us. I think, honestly, and this doesn't have to do with the influencer part of things. I was having a conversation with someone about this like 2 days ago, and I think it's something we should like just keep in mind. There's so many good things about the internet. There's so many good things about stuff we have access to, and being able to like communicate with so many people and share so many ideas and all this stuff. But also, we are like kind of continuously bombarded with so much information every day. And on top of so much information, like, we get news, we get stuff from all over the world, and there's so many really intense things happening. And so when I'm saying this, I'm not saying this like, oh, we need to turn a blind eye to things, but I want to point out the fact that, like, probably as humans or whatever, we were probably never meant to take in this much pain, this much trauma, this much suffering, this much, like, all information. Like, it's so much. And so people are like constantly in this state of like, we're all like super stressed out. And it's part of why I do the things, like I do the sound baths and I do this stuff, because I'm like, hey, let's take a break. We're gonna like put all the devices away. We're gonna go into like this, like, just a place of calm for like an hour. And you don't have to do sound baths. You can go to other music shows or go to things like art, just something. But I say, like, read, do something to disconnect for a little bit every day, because it's so much. It's so much what we are seeing on a daily basis. And like I said, I don't think we should be like turning blind eyes to all this stuff. That's not what I mean by it. I just mean, consider that. Remember that when you're feeling so overwhelmed with everything and when there's all this stuff, sometimes take a step out and see what you can do within your own community, with the people that are just right around you, and be some good in that space. And like, just, I'm just saying, take care of yourselves, because it's a lot these days. And it's, like I said, there's beautiful things with the internet too, and there's a lot of beautiful aspects of it. I get to do this and I get to share with y'all. But make sure you take some time and you get away from all this, and like, go out and be in nature, and like hang out with a tree or something. Like, hang out somewhere where you're like, oh wow, there's still a lot of beauty out here. There's still a lot of good things. And there's things worth saving. There's things worth fighting for. There's things worth just going and soaking up those moments, being present, and just, anyways, that's not what today was supposed to be about, but I just started thinking about that. I want to say that because I think we all need to make sure we have little bits of time for like mental health check-ins, and like get ready, so we can't pour from empty cups, so to speak. So if you're feeling like overwhelmed, find what little things you can do where you can kind of disconnect from all this for a little bit each day, and have a little bit of time in here, Okay, much love. This was longer than I meant it to be, my bad. Much love. I hope that y'all have a beautiful day, and I will talk to y'all again soon. Wait, coffee mug. Crazy. Not crazy. Our words are powerful. Wonderful. Extra energy from the coffee. Okay, much love, you guys. Have a beautiful day.